All right, it is week 9. I can't believe it is going this fast. So last week, well, it wasn't last week. Last week was spring break. I hope everyone had an awesome spring break. Last video, we did elk, and which is Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. Sorry, I'm broadcasting from home tonight, so my dog might get a little bit upset at people walking by my house. So anyway, so we did that. It can be a little bit complicated and honestly a little, I guess, hard to understand conceptually, elk. But the common thing that I've seen people have problems with. I'm going to open up a new terminal. Not do that. Actually, I will do that. I'm going to go File, Open Terminal. I'm going to move this back over to this guy. And I'm going to go ahead and get root. So one of the problems that I've seen people run into is because we basically just downloaded Kibana and didn't really install it, just ran it from wherever we downloaded it. It's right here. So I'm in root, and I'm in my home folder. A little tilde means I'm in my home folder, and I have a folder here called Kibana. If I go into that, one of the things that you have to do to run Kibana is to actually run the binary file, which is in the bin folder. Bin is short for binary. So I'm just going to cd to bin. And we have a green file there called Kibana, this guy right here. I'm going to do an ls-l, and this is a junk user and group, but we can see here that it is set everybody to execute. If you recall back to when we did permissions, these three sets of permissions means that pretty much everyone on this entire system can read, not write, but execute this file. And just for extra measure, we'll do file Kibana, and we see file tells us what type of a file is. Basically, you can pass a file to file, and it'll tell you what sort of file it is. So if I do that to the bat file there, it'll say that it's a dots batch file, and it's ASCII text. And this one says it's a POSIX shell. POSIX is a very politically correct way of saying Unix, like shell script. And so POSIX is actually a set of standards that all Unixes or Unix systems and almost all Linux systems have. They meet that specification. And actually, ironically, Windows actually has a POSIX, or used to have a POSIX compatibility layer. It was a requirement, at least in the 90s, for the DoD. Any software supplied to the DoD had to be POSIX compliant. So Windows actually had a lot of Unix tools that you could install separately to meet POSIX compliance. So anything with POSIX means that it is basically Unix or Linux shell script. And so I can run that by doing a /Kibana, or if I was at just the place where I downloaded, if I do pwd, we can see I'm in root Kibana. Kibana is a folder that I extracted out of this tarball, this Kibana 442 Linux tarball. I untarred that and got to Kibana. And if I go inside that, then I can launch it by doing a bin Kibana. And so the biggest problem I've seen people have is not knowing where it's at. And then the second one is this right here. Kibana won't start if Elasticsearch isn't running. So this is saying basically, actually, this is saying that the address is already in use. So it's not that it's it can't run because it's already in use by something. Well, that's interesting because really there shouldn't be anything running on this. I think I've rebooted since last time. But let's just do a netstat to find out. I'm typing it to grep and looking for that specific port. And it looks like Node. Weird. Okay. Apparently I have Node running. What the deuce is that? So I'm going to now do, this could be actually from last time, Kibana running. TS, AUX, and I'm going to grep now for this process ID. Yes, it is. March 10th would have been, yeah, look at that. So I still have it running. So if you do get this where it's already in use, likely it's already running. In this case, it's already running, so I want to kill it. I just want to, in Linux, you can kill processes very aggressively using kill-9. There's even a wrap called kill-9. It's a nerd thing. 29658. So what I did here, I went and netstat shows me all the ports that are running on my local system because this said it was already in use. I searched for that specific port and saw that this program was running on that port. Then I looked for that program in here and I found that it is running. And now I'm going to take this same process ID. This is a process ID. This is a port number. I'm going to take that process ID and use kill-9 and that process ID. And it should, now if I do a PSAUX and a netstat and search for that port, I find nothing on either. This is just the same, this is actually finding grep itself because grep, grep is finding grep in the PS system. PS shows you all the processes in the system. And anyway, so we have that killed. I'm going to go ahead and start this again by running that. And like I said, the other problem that I had seen is when Elasticsearch isn't running. And I'll actually show you that by doing a systemctl stop Elasticsearch. And then I'll run Kibana again. And you see these warnings and errors. And then it's just, it'll sit here and kind of scroll through saying that it can't connect to Elasticsearch. And so I'm going to go ahead and start Elasticsearch again. And then I can run Kibana. And it's listening. Oh, crap. Well, maybe not. Oh, there it is. So it wasn't running completely yet. So that is the common problems I've seen. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'll try to respond to the emails I have as well about that specifically, because there have been some other specific problems. So that's all I really wanted to touch on from last week, which was Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. And it really is a cool way of graphing and taking in data and displaying it in different and unique ways, especially log files, because log files are really boring. Like I can do a cat var log, pretty much anything in here. Let's look at our xorg 0 log. That is incredibly just mind-numbingly useless in its current form. I mean, granted, it does show that right here I connected in a couple of monitors. This is when I dock and undock. I have Samsung monitors. And it just detects them in here, but that's kind of boring. And with Logstash and Kibana, you can make that actually see, like on a graph, when those sort of things happen. And if you're on a network, you can see For example, if you're getting attacked by Chinese hackers, you could then see fairly easily when, where, how often, whether or not it's a big attack. My website I run, I get hit all the time by Chinese. And most of the time it's just scanning. It's not a big deal. I don't really pay much attention unless it kind of reaches a certain threshold. And at that point, I actually go in and be like, oh, okay, I see here is where, things are happening. I can either block that or I can actually respond to that. And using these things, I can be able to respond to them more easily. So enough of that dry, boring, dull stuff. I wanted to do something a little bit more fun today, and I thought a media server would be a great idea. In the past, in Dan's classes, we've done some other servers, and I thought a really cool idea was a media server, and there are a bunch of them. Kodi is one that I've used for a long time. It didn't always used to be called Kodi. It actually used to be called XBMC, or Xbox Media Center. And I had an old school original Xbox, and I had rooted it, or whatever you called it, on back then, and I installed Xbox Media Center on there, and it was a really cool Media Center interface. And then that software has evolved now into what now they call Kodi. It's a pretty cool piece of software. It's kind of slick. There's not just Kodi. I actually pulled up a list here. UPnP is a standard, or universal plug and play, for media servers, and there are a lot of cross-platform. That means it can run on Linux, Windows, OS 10, basically whatever you want. If you had like a Raspberry Pi or something, you could also set this up with this. A lot of the things that we do in Fedora can be done on any Linux distribution. Like, say you had a Raspberry Pi or a BeagleBone Black or a couple other different microcomputers. Well, micro, they're probably nano now. Little credit card sized computers that you can hook up a 5 terabyte hard drive to and share all sorts of stuff from. So, Linux has many applications for not just professional but personal things. Anyway, this is a list of all of the specific UPnP servers out there. These ones are just cross-platform. Kodi is actually cross-platform, but there are some that are specific to Linux, like MythTV. MythTV I've installed in the past, and it's not bad. Rigel I've never used, but I've heard good things about it. I didn't really want to go out and do something really crazy that I've never done before. So if you guys want to go explore this stuff, be my guest. I mean, go out there, figure it out. There's a lot of really cool things you can do. But Kodi is what we'll start with. And just like every other thing, almost every other thing, we're going to do a DNF search Kodi to find it. You can see here we've got Kodi Media Center, and really that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and say DNF-Y install Kodi, and the -Y says yes to any prompts. That means it's just going to go ahead and download it. And it's relatively small. It's 19 megs, and installed it's 41 megs it takes up. It's pretty small. Wait for it here. And I just ran it from the command line. This is running as root, probably not the best thing to do. So I'm actually going to exit Kodi. I'm actually going to open up a new terminal, open terminal, and I'm running as me with just the $sign here. I'm going to type in Kodi. And right there, we've got a interface for a media center. And so you could either plug this into your TV and just use a Linux box directly, or this also does sharing. You know, like there's all the music library. I'm going to quit out of this. So that's the front end. I believe it also has a server component to it. It does not. Well, let's go to there. Let's go to their site. And let's see, they have a wiki. Let's see, video library. Let's see if they have library settings. It looks like this is just a front end. That's what I remember. I thought they had a server component too, but I think that's where we have to get a little bit more creative. So that's just the front end, and Kodi is really cool. So if you wanted to, you could set up your system to log in directly and not automatically log in as a user and launch Kodi automatically, and you could use your TV. And because Linux works with pretty much any Bluetooth, keyboard, mouse, remote, you could control it with a Bluetooth device, even your phone if you really wanted to, and hook it up to your TV. Now that's the client side of things. I thought they had a server. I was wrong. But let's just do a search. DNF search UPnP. Lots of things. I remember this one. Let's install a couple and see if we can get them working. I haven't, honestly. I thought Kodi had advanced to the point where it had a server component. Apparently it doesn't, so we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants and get something. So I'm going to actually install quite a bit of stuff. I do DNF install Mediatone or Tune, however you Media Bomb. No, Mediatune. Tune. We'll go for Tune. And then I'll just also do gmedia server. And just seeing if there's anything else that I may want to install. Yeah, it looks good. I'll just install those two. I'm going to go ahead and search this. And the Mediatone? Yeah, there it is. Oh, why do I keep calling it that? Tune. I guess I don't exactly know how it's pronounced. Let's look at documentation here. Oh, they have a web UI, which is nice. Let's just go into initial installation. Wow, these are really, really graphical and descriptive, both of these sites. Let's just go. I'm going to use a SQLite database because I don't really feel like setting up another MySQL database for this. You can, obviously, if you want. Let's try this. All right, so we have a Mediatune service. I'm going to start it. And it died horribly. Okay, so it's not configured. So let's see if we can configure it. I'm going to assume, and I have no idea, I've not done this before. So it's etc. Mediatune. And etc. is where all the config files are kept for the system. So if you're looking for config files, that's a good place to start. I assumed that MediaToom would be inside of a directory, which it is, in etc. And right there's a config.xml. Or there's also a MediaToom.conf, which I'm going to go to first. So there's a directory called MediaToom and a file called MediaToom.conf. So I'm going to edit MediaToom.conf and MT interface. Well, that is not set. So I want to set it to, in my case, I want it to be on my network. So I know I'm gonna get out of this, and I want to see what my network device is called. So I'm gonna do an if config, and this shows me all of my interfaces. IF is interface, and I have Eno1, which is my wired NIC. It's Ethernet. Then I have my LO, which is loopback. I have Mac VTAP. That's for my virtual machine. Viber 0. That's a virtual bridge interface for my Verber 0. It's for my virtual machine as well. And then I have WLP3S0, which is my wireless. So I want to use my Eno1. I'm going to go in here, and my MT interface is going to be Eno1. All that looks relatively good. I don't know really what other things we need to put in here, but I just want to set it to what interface I want it to run on, so we can at least listen on a interface. Now, currently, I'm actually not wired in. I'm wireless. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. I might have to, actually, I'm going to change that. For you guys, you might have to do whatever you have for an interface that's up. I'm going to do actually my wireless interface. Oops, didn't do that. I want to paste. Nope, don't want to do that. I want to paste with my other buffer, WLP3S0. Save and quit. We're good there. I think we're good there anyway. Let me see. Let's do a systemctl start of MediaToom, and now let's do a status. And it's running. Awesome. Okay. So hopefully that didn't kick me off the internet. Let's make sure I am still. I do these things sometimes and don't realize that I could actually kick myself off the internet. Yeah, we've still got internet. Because UPnP runs on a multicast, it can actually set some network settings. So that's why I was a little worried I just kicked myself off the internet. Where was my terminal I was using? I thought I had it. There it is. It's huge. Okay, so I have it running. That's kind of cool. It's on port 50500. This is the command that you use to run. Usually when you see a -P, it means port. And even here it says -P MT port. So we know that's a port. Let's actually run Kodi again. I'm going to go to videos. Home. Where would this be? Add-ons. UPnP. Done. Nothing. Sweet. System. No, all this is good. By the way, for the assignment, a picture of this is good enough for me. Just setting it up and making sure it works. How did I click on that again? Let's get it music. Library. Huh. This should let me go and I should be able to search my local network. I'm feeling pretty hard at this. This is why documentation was invented. So let's go back here to Kodi UPnP. Can't be the only one wanting to. Oh, I guess it does have a server in there. Oh, wow. Okay. Setting services UPnP. Let's try that again. So system, settings, services. Oh, there it is. Allow load control via UPnP. This actually should, because I set it up to share my libraries and look for remote players, I should actually see I'm going to exit this. I want to actually play from a UPnP client. Okay, that's fine. Sending video to other PnP targets. Source. Ah, here we go. Add video source. Let's try that. Videos, files. Wow, there's actually quite a few things you can add in. These are just plugins that if you wanted to get NFL.com video, you could inside here. A lot of other things too. Okay, that. Oh, there we go. We just need to click on that, add videos, browse, UPnP devices, MediaTune right there. There we go. Now there's nothing there because I haven't shared anything yet, but it's there. So I can click on this and it's got nothing there. Cool. All right. So we got that set up. Took a little bit of reading of the documentation. Oh, that's all good. Yeah, looks good. Test. Okay, we're good. So let's go grab a stock video. I just want to get a Wikimedia Commons. Wikimedia Commons is awesome if you want open source media content that you don't have to pay anything for rebroadcasting or doing anything. Insect of genus Sulia on mushroom. That's kind of cool. Let's see if I can go get this. Original file. Cool. I'm going to download this. Let's go ahead and save it. That's kind of gross. That's okay. We're just downloading it. 4 minutes. No. Yeah, it's going really fast. Let's pretty big. That's a huge file. Hopefully this supports WebM files, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to go back to my console. I know there it's done. So I can do let me go back and edit this MediaToom. Inside this directory, there's a MediaToom config.xml. And I really don't want to edit it as much as I want to know right here where this file is. I think that's it. And does it like WebM? It does not. Huh. Okay, well, this might be a problem. I downloaded WebM. Well, we're going to try it anyway. Worst case is it fails and I rename the file and try to hack it to work and it still doesn't work. The point is, I've got a media client, Kodi, connecting to MediaToom, which is a server running on my system. And MediaToom is probably better as a server system because I can basically point it at a directory on my Linux computer. Let's say it was where I had mounted a 5 terabyte external hard drive to my system and was sharing out a bunch of movies. Now, if I did that, I could be running that on like a little Raspberry Pi or a BeagleBone, and then from my Xbox or my computer, then be able to play video from that. Kind of a Netflix, if you will, of your local network. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that directory that was in there. It was user share MediaToom web. It's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all. That's the website. I'm going to do a netstat-antp. I'm going to grep for MediaToom. Coming on that port. Okay. That's good. It's running. But I want to get content from it. Let me look at the config one more time. Let's look through here. Storage, the DB. So apparently you have to use, well, let's just, again, this is why documentation was written, right? Okay. Let's go back up here. Server settings, transcode settings. Let's say server settings. Port. Presentation URL. Let's go back up to the top. I'm going to go to documentation. Where the web UI documentation is, because it does look like it has first time launch. When starting MediaToom home directory, all generated using SQLite. That's done because we already are using that. Then command line options, configuration file, entirely configurable, various options. Required or optional. Okay, server settings. Got all that. Servdir. The files from the structure serves a regular web host server. They do not be added to the database, but are also not served via PUPMP. That is good to know. Where is the directory of where I put media. Storage caching and all that nonsense. Extended. Assumptions useful. Okay, so it looks like I will have to just add. Nah. There we go. Okay. Configuration file. There should be a web root server. PC enables on PC storage devices. Looks like I just have to add one via It looks like there is actually a directory. Oh, that's only on auto scan though. You know, it's really nice when they have such good documentation. Yes, that is exactly a facetious statement, but that's kind of neat. It has YouTube built in, YouTube service. Allow you to watch YouTube videos using your UPnP device. Huh. But by using this feature, you might be violating YouTube service terms and conditions. That's awesome. Awesome. All else fails, we just Google it. Okay. How do I make, I'm running that. I just want to add stuff to it. Apparently we have to go to the web interface. Well, that's okay. Apparently I probably should have done that beforehand. Well, we know it's running on localhost, and it was 5,500, I think. Ah, okay. Huh. Yeah, that's not very useful there, MediaToon. Huh. Well, let's just do this. I want to create a directory. I'm going to create a var media. cd var media, and I'm going to copy that file I downloaded. So I'm going to move it actually. Move home. What was it called? I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, downloads. So now I have a directory in here. I'm going to go var media. I'm going to add that directory. So it looks like now I've got that in there. So that's a good thing. Let me fire up Kodi again. Go to videos, files, MediaToon, PC directory, var media, and let's see if this works. Hey, look at that. It works. So it took a little while to get there. A lot of it, me not knowing exactly what I've got going on. But really what I wanted to do was show you how you would take anything and just kind of get a start from it. And yeah, this is a pretty cool little fun project. I like because I actually have a BeagleBone that I'm planning on setting up, and something similar to this. I actually kind of want to set up some home automation and be able to, like, you know, turn lights off and on, set my temperature remotely, that sort of thing with it, and maybe a Arduino. So this is kind of gross. I don't really want to watch it anymore. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to close that because that's really gross. And go ahead and, did not want to do that. Exit. So that's it. That's it for today. Give me a screenshot of Kodi running, and you know, if you guys can get MediaToon working, or even if you want to get the local Kodi UPnP service set up and running, go for it. MediaToon is probably a better option for a server if you want it to just be sitting running all the time, especially for like a Raspberry Pi sort of setup. MediaToon would be great for that. But if you just wanted to set up something that you ran manually, Kodi would be awesome for that. Oh, excuse me. So that's that. Next week, I will not even being in Wyoming. I will be down in Florida. I'm taking kind of a spring break for myself. I'll be away, but I will try to get you guys another video, another hangout. I would like to do something fun again next week as well. Probably something along the line of games. So if you guys are into games and have something that runs on Windows but not on Linux, that's probably what we'd be doing. I could change my mind between now and then, but that's the thought. So anyway, that's it for this week. If you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, anything like that, just give me a send me an email. And that's it.